What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Mock Draft Guy YouTube channel. In today's video, we are rolling right along with our 7-round 2023 team mock drafts, and I've landed on the Jacksonville Jaguars for today. The Jaguars are a very interesting case. They had a pretty good offseason, I would say, for the most part. Pretty quiet as well, but you have to think that the midseason acquisition of Calvin Ridley is kind of like an offseason acquisition for them. So they really have a very, very solid receiving core as of right now. They brought back Evan Ingram on a franchise tag. Their offensive line, I guess, would probably be the most worrisome group of the bunch. They lost Jawan Taylor. Now Walker Little is set to take his place. The cornerback group could use some work as well. This is a team that really is exciting, and it's definitely on the up and up, especially with Trevor Lawrence taking that second step, winning a playoff game as well. I'm really, really excited for their future, and it looks like they're already the best team in the AFC South by far. So a really, really exciting time for the Jacksonville Jaguars, for Trevor Lawrence, for the Jacksonville Jaguars fans, Doug Peterson, whatever it may be. This roster is interesting. They don't have too many massive holes, I feel like every position is sort of well covered. So this was an interesting draft to do, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So obviously with pick number 24 here for the Jacksonville Jaguars, a couple ways that they can go. I think that the two most likely ways that they go is offensive tackle or cornerback, as I mentioned before. Walker Little and Cam Robinson didn't really grade out so well last year. Walker Little only played, I think, about 275 snaps, and he was okay. He wasn't, terrible. He wasn't great either. And Cam Robinson wasn't bad either. He let up a few sacks, but all in all, he was pretty decent. Worth the $17+ million that he gets, or whatever the contract may be, 14, 17, I don't remember off the top of my head. Maybe not. Maybe they look for a long-term replacement. Here's the thing. At this point in the draft, where basically all the elite cornerback prospects are gone, even in a super deep cornerback draft class, I think I'm more comfortable taking an offensive tackle at this point. There's some really good guys on the board here. First guy that jumps off the page to me, well, I was way down there, is Anton Harrison. I think Anton Harrison hasn't gotten enough love in this draft process. If you really watch his tape, he is far and away the best pass blocker in the entire draft class. He's an absolute mauler. And I think that if the Jaguars are looking for a replacement or, someone to challenge Walker Little, I think Anton Harrison would be the guy to kind of slot in right away at that right tackle position. And then you see what they do with Cam Robinson over, this next year, after that as well. He could be expendable as well if Anton Harrison turns out to be as good as we think he is. So I think that this would be the most logical pick, maybe the safest pick. I could also see the Jacksonville Jaguars, depending who's on the board, I could see them going wide receiver, a long-term solution. I know Calvin Ridley only has 1 year left on his contract. Christian Kirk is signed long-term, but Zay Jones is a number 3 receiver. So they could be looking, if Quentin Johnston is there, Jordan Addison is on the board, that could be possible as well. I was also thinking tight end could be a sleeper position for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They do need defensive line as well, but I think that tight end would be a sleeper position for them. Evan Ingram is only signed to a 1-year deal as of right now, so you never know. But I think the tackle is the most logical position for them here at this point in the draft, and I'm going to take Anton Harrison at 24. Then at pick number 56, I'm going to address the other biggest need, I would say, that's on the board for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's the cornerback room. The Jaguars have spent a decent amount of money over the past, I would say, 3-4 years, kind of trying to revamp that cornerback position. I mean, if you can go as far back as when Jalen Ramsey was there and then they signed A.J. Bouye to that big contract, I guess you can go as far as that, but they've always been willing to throw money at the cornerback position, and things haven't really stuck for the most part. Shaquille Griffin was same thing with Darius Williams. They really need an upgrade. I like Tyson Campbell a lot. I think he blossomed this past year. I think you build upon that and you get someone else, a nice young potential starter as well. And I really like Tyreek Stevenson here out of Miami. 6 foot, 200 pounds, mid 4.4 speed. This is a guy that could easily play boundary on an island at the NFL level. And I think that he would excel. A lot of people have him actually in the first round. I don't think that that's the case. I think that there are probably if we're getting down to it, maybe about 6 or 7, maybe even 8 cornerbacks that I think I would take ahead of him. But if he's here at 56, I think it's a no-brainer. You have to upgrade the secondary. Make your team stronger. I think that, to be quite honest with you, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to run away with the AFC South this upcoming season. But that doesn't mean anything once you get into the postseason. You have to gear up for these big teams, and you need cornerback depth. You need good cornerback depth if you want to compete in the AFC. And I think that nabbing Tyreek Stevenson at pick number 56 would be an immense pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then at pick number 88 for the Jacksonville Jaguars, this was a toss-up for me between interior of the offensive line and tight end. I'm not really too happy with what's on the board in terms of interior offensive linemen as of right now. So if you look, you have Olusegun Oluwatimi, you have Jared Patterson, you have Andrew Voorhees still here, Braden Daniels, Nick Broker, guys that you could probably get at the next pick, at pick number 121. So I'm going to hold off on interior offensive line because there is a great tight end here. Tucker Kraft out of South Dakota State is fantastic. I think that if the Jacksonville Jaguars do not want to pay Evan Ingram long term, I feel like really that franchise tag came off of the last 5 weeks of the season, because I don't really think he did too much before that. And that one massive performance, I forget who it was against, but he had a massive performance where he had 2 touchdowns, 100 plus yards, whatever it may be. I think after that, that's when they franchise tagged him. The tight end position isn't what it used to be in the NFL. I feel like you have maybe 6 or 7 really good tight ends, and then the rest is just completely mid. But Tucker Kraft is a guy that I think that could get limited snaps in his first year. Then after Evan Ingram is off the franchise tag, I think that he could step right into the starting spot and be an excellent addition as a weapon for Trevor Lawrence. I think he would be actually 6'6", 255, 260 pounds, great athlete as well. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, he didn't play against the greatest competition in the FCS in South Dakota State. But we've seen some great prospects come from North Dakota State, South Dakota, Montana State, whatever it may be. So I like Tucker Kraft here, especially if he's here at 88. I doubt in the real draft he'll actually be here. I was thinking that the next pick would be Luke Schoonmaker for me, but since Tucker Kraft is here at 88, I just can't pass him up here. And as I previously mentioned before, I'm going to go back to the interior of the offensive line. The offensive line isn't bad. You're looking at the interior of, you have Brendan Sheriff, you have Ben Barch, as well, Tyler Shatley, I believe, or Luke Fortner, one of those two guys as well. I think that they need more depth. You need more depth. That's basically what I'm getting down to here. I mean, if you look at their depth chart, it's really the starters and then maybe 1 or 2 backups for 1 or 2 positions. They're really, really thin at the position. As we know, most of the time, you're only as good as your offensive line is healthy. So if your offensive line can stay healthy, you need to have guys in there that could step right in and be those difference makers. Oluwatimi is a player that I really, really like. He was graded out really, really nicely at the NFL Combine. I think he ranked 3rd or 4th in every major category for the center position. He's also got really nice size to kick out and play guard as well. 6'3", 310 pounds. He's got pretty decently long arms as well, so I would feel comfortable with him playing guard as well. I think this is a guy, a nice little chess piece that you could have as a 6th offensive lineman or someone that, could step right in because of an injury and he could play at a high level. Kind of the same deal with the defensive line. It's 3 starters and then really nothing behind those 3 starters. So I'm going to go with Isaiah McGuire here at pick number 127 out of Missouri. Really nice player. Had a great combine, had a great pro day. 6'4", 270 pounds, has great size to play that 3-4 defensive end position. And he's coming off of a 7-sack season. He's been pretty productive at Missouri. So I think that it would be a really nice find in the 4th round here to get someone that could rotate in and give those guys a breather on that defensive line. So I like Isaiah McGuire here for a little bit of defensive line depth at pick number 127. And then at pick number 185, I know that the safety position isn't really, in need of an upgrade at all. It is in need of a little bit of depth, though. But if Brandon Joseph is still sitting here at pick number 185, I think it would be a no-brainer to run the card up and get him. This was a guy who a while ago was considered someone that could be a back end of the 1st round pick to the Buffalo Bills. I don't really know what happened, but yeah, I couldn't really figure it out, to be quite honest with you, but he's been sliding down draft boards for quite some time here. I think it was just the overall performance of so many other safeties on pro days and and the NFL Combine itself, I think just kind of slid him further and further down the draft board. But honestly, if he's still here at 185, this is another pick that I seriously doubt would be here on draft day at pick number 185. But if he is here, I think this would be a diamond in the rough for the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 6th round. Then at pick number 202, I'm going with a big boy here out of Mississippi State. Cameron Young is a really nice nose tackle depth piece for the Jacksonville Jaguars here. Before the combine, he was weighing in around like 320, 324 pounds, wound up around the 310 pound mark for the NFL Combine. But we've seen smaller nose tackles before. This would be a really nice depth rotational piece for them. I don't know how often we see nose tackles being, rotated out, but I feel like this would be a great piece to have at this point in the draft. So I'm going to take Cameron Young to back up Devon Hamilton for the Jacksonville Jaguars. At 208, if Trey Tucker is still on the board, I got to take him. I know he's a little bit on the smaller side, 5'9", 185 pounds. This is a guy, I know they have Jamal Agnew, but this is a guy who's a seriously good returner. He's got 4.4 speed. I feel like if 4.4 speed is on the board at this point in the NFL draft, I feel like you kind of just take him and then you find a spot for him somewhere along the line. So I like Trey Tucker as maybe a potential, who knows? You never know. I know Jamal Agnew is an all-pro returner. You never know. They could want to save some money one day. They could want to trade him. I obviously doubt that would happen, but you just never know. It's good to have backups to skill positions like that. So I like Trey Tucker here as a potential kick returner and a gadget player at pick number 208. Then at pick number 226 with the last pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I like Isaiah Land out of Florida A&M. This is around the time where you take those project picks that could turn into massive big pieces down the line, project pieces down the line. Isaiah Land was an interesting case where before the combine, he was getting some serious hype as someone that would be a really intriguing project piece. 6'3", 236 pounds off the edge, so not too much size in terms of weight, a little bit on the skinnier side. But we thought that he was going to really kill it with his speed, and he actually wound up running a 4.62. So that really, really killed any real indications of teams taking him a little bit earlier, maybe than the 6th round, as something of a project piece. But I think this would be a really nice find for the Jacksonville Jaguars at pick number 226. I was thinking about going with another interior offensive lineman here. I was thinking about maybe going with another tight end possibly, or another cornerback. But I can't pass up what Isaiah Land could bring to a team as a project piece all the way at 226. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There is my full 7-round 2023 Jacksonville Jaguars team mock draft. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Please leave a like. Please leave a comment. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We are rolling right along with these all the way through draft season. So please, please come on aboard. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.